Happy Thursday. Phil Lindemann with your midday news on Krystal 93. We've been reading nasty reviews for local restaurants on Yelp, Google, and elsewhere, and we want to hear from you. Is the internet telling the truth? Steve calling in from Summit Cove.
I quit going out to eat. I quit doing a lot of stuff because the servers, they're overworked, they're underpaid, and the service recently has just gone so far downhill.
Steve admits it's a tough situation for everyone, saying if things don't improve, he might be leaving the county, and he's lived here for decades. Jeff, a resident of 30 years.
Silverthorne's doing it, I think, a little more right in that they've built it and then they will come. That is to say, like a parking garage is going up and people are going to come fill it. Breck 20 years ago said, let's four-lane this highway. Well, you're four-laning a highway into a two-lane town.
Another longtime local, Joe, manages a property with 40 units, only 2 of which remain as workforce rentals.
Housing has always been an issue. Rent has always been an issue. But right now, there's just nothing available for people to rent. I have 2 kids that grew up here in their 30s, and they're thinking about moving because they can't find a place to live.
Stay tuned at 4 and 5 for more. Local transit directors are hurting for employees. Down 15 drivers at Breck Freeride, down 17 drivers at Summit Stage. Breck Freeride was already forced to cut 3 routes this year, leaving nearly 500,000 people without a ride. They've had just 7 driver applications this year, down from 58 last year, 115 in 2019. At Summit School District, Interim Superintendent Roy Crawford says they need 6 drivers, or risk cutting service.
We'll do what we can to communicate well with families and provide alternatives for those people we can't transport, and we're working on that as we speak. And I know that will cause consternation with families, but if we don't have the drivers, we don't have the drivers.
We sat down yesterday with Superintendent Crawford to hear his goals for the district and why it is so important to be back in school 5 days a week.
When you're an adolescent, that's a major part of your life, and to have that part of your life reduced or minimized is not a good thing.
Crawford met this week with 8 local high schoolers, including a senior at Snowy Peaks, who is willing to do what it takes to graduate on time this December.
She was more than happy to wear masks if that kept them in school. She doesn't need to be quarantined. She doesn't want school to be closed. She wants that diploma, and for her, masking is a small price to pay to have that.
Crawford is also committed to teacher retention, bolstering a teacher support program that introduces new teachers to the whole community. I-70 at Glenwood Canyon is scheduled to open again Saturday, and listeners were sounding off on the Krystal 93 Facebook page. Many were thanking CDOT for all their hard work. Writes Kathy, about time, sick of all the traffic through Kremling and up and down Highway 9. Others smell a political plot, says Patrick of Governor Jared Polis. I'm sure the scumbag politician is doing what every politician does in this situation, trying his best to scam taxpayers. Reopening does depend on weather. Forecast shows another round of monsoon moisture tomorrow through next week. In sports, the Rockies lost to the Astros yesterday 5-1. The Rockies open a weekend series with the Giants tonight at 7:45. And in local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency, Breckenridge Golf Club is busy, like the rest of the county, seeing a 3rd straight season of record golfers. The club expects revenue to beat last year by 25%. Phil Lindemann, Krystal 93 News.